This is the Permaculture Podcast. I'm Scott Mann. This episode is a Q&A. How do you approach working with clients and understanding their needs and goals? One of the biggest lessons I learned early on is that not every client relationship is the right fit, and that's okay. My process starts with being selective from the moment someone contacts me. I'll give anyone 20 minutes of my time, usually over email or a quick call. And if they're contacting me for their project, if we talk through it or exchange messages and find that there's something that feels like it could work, I'll then see about moving us into a 1-hour paid consultation, either by phone or video. I find this two-step process in the very beginning is a nice, simple, low-pressure way to get to know each other and give us both a chance to see what it would be like to work together. If we like each other and everything clicks, great. We can move on to the next step and keep going with a deeper intake conversation. I can send them any questions or notes that I have from our conversation for them to give me more details, and we can move into the design work. If it doesn't click, then we can part ways on good terms. No wasted time, no hard feelings, while still leaving my client with something of value. And that's because I always answer their questions and provide a detailed written follow-up to our initial exchange and first call. That way, if they decide that they want to go in a different direction, they'd like to look for another designer to work with, they still have a lot of information to work from and leave the discussion more informed and more educated. I understand that turning down paying work might sound like a strange strategy, especially when you're trying to build your book of business and in those first few years where you're just trying to get some clients under your belt. But I found that over and over again, working with the right people makes everything easier. You wind up spending less time trying to figure out what they actually want and more time doing actual meaningful design work. To get to that meaningful design work and understand what a client actually wants requires one important skill that I think that all of us can cultivate more deeply: listening. I say that because it's easy to think we're good at listening, but a lot of the time we're just waiting for our turn to talk. With clients in particular, we can come into that first hour-long phone call or our first design meeting together with all of our passion and a head full of ideas, solutions, and maybe even the beginning buds of a design. And it's easy to let that rule and get in the way and not really hear what our client is saying. And so to get out of that mindset, there's a principle that stuck with me, and I feel funny saying this because I swear this book was everywhere during the late 90s and early 2000s, but it's Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's a book that's easy to find, and so you can look up lists of what those habits are. The one that really resonates with me when it comes to working with clients is his first one: seek first to understand, then to be understood. It's simple and reminds us to walk into that client relationship looking at it as what it is, something new. Each time we take on a client and sit down with them to hear their story for the first time, it's an opportunity for us to learn. Our clients might not be permaculture experts, but they are the experts in their own lives, their land, what they're looking for, and the resources that are holding them back, whether that's time, their budget, or their understanding of the problem. When you take time to really understand all that, your design lands differently. You're not just creating something technically sound, you're creating something that actually fits them and their needs and the ecology of that piece of land and the people you're designing for. You give them a chance to thrive, and yourself as well, as your relationship and work together stops being transactional. You're not just delivering a service, but working with them, collaborating and building something together. If you'd like to take the thoughts in this episode further, in addition to reading Stephen Covey's work, I also recommend reading Pedagogy of the Oppressed. It provides deep insights on being in conversation with one another and meeting people where they're at. It's a book that can transform your professional relationships so they are built on trust, respect, and understanding for one another in a truly collaborative way. Are you new to working with clients and have more questions? Have you been designing for a while and have thoughts you'd like to pass along that I can share in a future episode? Get in touch. Email show@thepermaculturepodcast.com, or you can call or text 717-827-6266. Until the next time, spend each day listening to your clients while taking care of Earth, yourself, and each other.